Hey explorers, welcome to Koala TV. We hope you're having a great day. We're now going to show you the 15 most beautiful birds on planet Earth, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Number 15. Leucistic White Peacock. Don't confuse the leucistic white peacock with the albino peacock. This one has blue or gray eyes, while the albino peacock's eyes are red due to the lack of pigmentation. The term leucistic means that these peacocks produce pigments, but they cannot deposit the pigment coloration to their feathers. In fact, albino peacocks are much rarer than leucistic peacocks. This is precisely why, if you've seen one at the zoo or in the video, chances are it's leucistic. Number 14. Victoria Crown Pigeon. Named after the British Queen Victoria, the Victoria Crown Pigeon is native to New Guinea. It's named after Your Majesty because of the crown-like feathers on top of its head. They're blue and called crests. The way you can distinguish this bird from the other 4 pigeons in the same genus is by looking for the white tips on these crests. Found them? The pigeon has a distinguished blue-gray plumage with fiery red eyes, and it can reach a length of around 30 inches with a typical weight of around 8 pounds. Another way to recognize them is by listening for distinguishable deep whooping sounds. Number 13. Mandarin Duck. This bird may look like a wooden sculpture made by a sculptor from classicism, but this duck can actually be seen in the wild in East Asia. Currently, thanks to exports, the Mandarin duck can be seen in many corners of the world. The males and the females are so different, some could think they're different species. The females aren't that interesting to look at, but the males, my god, are they beautiful! They have a red bill, a reddish face, a green stripe running up the middle of their forehead, and a white crescent above the eyes. The underbelly is white, while the breasts are covered in purple plumage. Aside from the wings, they also have the so-called sails, which are orange in color. And of course, to complete their distinguished look, they also have the so-called whiskers. Number 12. Keel-billed Toucan. It's the national bird of Belize, and it can be considered the unicorn of the bird world. The keel-billed toucan is native to Latin America countries, and it can be found in tropical jungles from Mexico to Colombia. Thanks to the large beak, this toucan can smash that like button just like you should do if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, he can actually eat fruits, seeds, eggs, other small birds, insects, small lizards, and even snakes. This makes the rainbow-billed toucan an omnivore. Their length varies anywhere between 17 to 22 inches. The bill alone is between 5 and 6 inches in length, while the whole bird weighs around 1 pound. Number 11. Bohemian Waxwing. We don't know how to explain it, but something about the plumage of this bird screams satisfying. It has buff-gray plumage with black and white wingtips. When spread out, the wings have white and bright yellow patterns. This small bird can be found in the Palearctic and North American forests and is one of 3 subspecies. The size of the plumage of all 3 subspecies is so different that anyone can easily tell them apart. The Bohemian waxwing usually lives near water, and they're oftentimes on the lookout for rowan berries, their main source of food. Funny enough, they can actually become intoxicated from eating too many fruits as they start to ferment inside their stomach. Sometimes they get so drunk that it can actually kill them. Bohemian waxwings, the beautiful alcoholics. Number 10. Painted Bunting. Do we need to explain why this bird is called the painted bunting? Yeah, that's pretty self-evident. The one thing that's not self-evident is that the males and the females are practically indistinguishable from one another until the 2nd year after birth. At this point, the feathers start to gain coloration, and you can easily see which bird is the male. Some call this bird the most beautiful bird in North America, and we can see why. It has almost all of the colors of the rainbow, the dark blue head, the red rump, the green back, and the red underbelly. It's practically a color palette. Number 9. Flamingo. The phrase, "you are what you eat," has never rung truer. Flamingos get their orangey pink color from the carotenoids that are found in the microscopic algae that they consume while filter feeding. That's right, the flamingos are filter feeders, and they turn their heads upside down when eating. Also, what we're used to calling knees are actually the flamingo's ankles, which is why they look like they can bend their knees backwards. They can be found in parts of South America and along the African coast. Number 8. Fruit doves. The name refers to their diet, and there are 50 species of these birds in the wild, each more colorful than the last. Because of their gorgeous plumage, people have been hunting them, and some even went extinct. They're found in the forests of Southeast Asia in Oceania. Although their plumage varies widely, they are all small and medium-sized birds that have fan-shaped tails and glossy feathers. Now, much like the other birds on this list, the male fruit doves look different from the female fruit doves. Number 7. Hyacinth macaw. The hyacinth macaw is a species of parrot, a very blue, very long species of parrot. From the head to the tip of their tail, these guys can measure about 3.3 feet in length, and they can be found in parts of South America. Now, because they're very similar to Lear's macaw, many people mistake one for the other, but their size is the biggest telltale sign. With beautiful and rare birds like these, they tend to be hunted down and traded, so they're now classified as vulnerable on the CITE scale. Please folks, just leave them alone. Number 6. Manakin. Much like the fruit birds, the manakin is a group that contains some 54 species, which are all distributed throughout the American tropics. The name is derived from the Middle Dutch term which translates to little man, so we don't need to tell you that they're a species of small birds, do we? With sizes varying from 3 to 6 inches and a weight of under 1 ounce, they're probably the smallest and yet most colorful birds we have on this list. In the first year after birth, the males have dull green plumage just like the females. It's only later in life that they develop their distinct coloration. Number 5. Wood duck. Considered one of the most colorful birds, the North American wood duck, also known as the Carolina duck, is one of the most popular waterfowl right next to the flamingos and the peacocks. We've all seen a wood duck, whether it's in real life or in movies, so let's talk about something you don't know. They have sharp claws on their feet that they use to perch on trees. The female will find a cavity in a tree, lay and hatch its eggs there, and once the little ducklings are out of their shell, they all jump from the tree up to 290 feet in the air and don't injure themselves upon landing. How do they do that? Number 4. Cockatoo. They can be found in Australia, the Solomon Islands, the Philippines, and New Guinea, and we all know them by their freaky fro, also known as a crest, as well as their curved bills. This is actually the interesting part about the birds. They're not as colorful as some of the others on this list, but their ability to raise their crest on top of their head at will makes them so interesting to look at. Top 3. Number 3. Resplendent Quetzal. Dark green head, bright green back, black feathers with yellow stripes, a fiery red underbelly, and an extremely long blue tail. This is what the resplendent Quetzal looks like. They're between 14 and 16 inches long and weigh around 7.5 ounces. These birds can be found in the regions between Panama and Mexico, as well as South America. It's so popular and well respected in Latin America countries that Guatemala made it their national bird. It can be found on their flag, their coat of arms, and even the country's currency is named after it. Number 2. Golden Finch. Some call it Gold's Finch, others the Rainbow Finch. To be honest, we've never seen a brighter and more colorful bird in our lives, and this includes cartoons. They're native to Australia, and unlike all the other species of birds we mentioned so far, the male and the female are both brightly colored. The difference? Well, you just have to pay attention to their chest. The male's is purple, while the female's is mauve. The species is really small, growing to only about 5.5 inches in length. Through crossbreeding, other color patterns have been developed. Number 1. Golden Pheasant. Call it the Chinese pheasant, call it the rainbow pheasant, call it whatever you want. This is probably the rarest and most beautiful of all the birds on this list. They're found in the mountainous Chinese terrain, and some of them have even been brought to countries like the UK, the US, and Canada. With their length ranging from 35 to 41 inches, these birds aren't small. However, their tails make up over 2/3 of the overall length. They usually feed on grains, leaves, and even some invertebrates that they found in the ground. Finally, we'd like to point out that the same color rule as for most colorful bird species applies here. The males are flamboyant and bright, while the females are brown and less interesting. If you enjoyed this video, you'll like the next one. This is Koala with Koality Content. See you soon. YouTube thinks that you should watch this video next according to your preferences.